I hate fiction so much sometimes. And not because it's bad, but because I'm obsessed with it, okay? Where's my thick, wholesome alien mama, bro? Come on, man. I'm so mad. I hate this timeline.
Everybody like, hey, are you ready to go? Ready to go. Everybody like, hey.
Okay, alright, what is going on, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So this video is definitely going to be a little bit weirder because I'm not actually talking about a game for once. Isn't that weird? When you look back on the channel, the only other time that I've talked about anything other than a game was back a couple years ago when I was doing just like random anime content, when I was talking about My Hero in the early stages, when I was talking about Boruto in its early stages. Like, it was just random anime things every now and again. I've never gotten the chance to really talk about other things too, you know? And I wanted to make it clear here that I want to do more than just games here. Like, I love games more than anything, okay? However, there's other things and hobbies that I invest myself into, especially reading webtoons. I absolutely love going through webtoons, okay? That may not be something anybody that follows me even knows about me, so... And that's not really something you're probably going to learn on my main channel, but whatever. Either way, I want to talk more about other things too. And I think that the best way to start is to start talking about webtoons. I really want to talk about the webtoons that I've read, and you know, my friends don't read my friends don't read fast enough. So, you know, I want to talk about it somewhere, okay? And I think that this right here is the best place to do so. So, with that in mind, I decided that I wanted to start like a brand new mini series called literally Webtoons You Need to Read. This is literally just like a mini series of like recommendations for new webtoons that I want to do maybe like once a week or so. If I can manage that, that would be awesome. Because I've read a lot of webtoons, and there's a lot of webtoons that I want to read. When I do this series, I may be finished with the webtoon, I may not be finished with the webtoon, but I want you guys to get invested into new good webtoons, and maybe if there's enough, you know, generation behind it and, you know, people are discussing it a lot, I'll make another video and we could talk in depth about the webtoon with the full spoilers and everything like that. But for now, I want to do this non-spoiler recommendation video for a webtoon that I think that you guys should probably read at some point in time, and hopefully in the very near future. So hopefully you like webtoons, and hopefully you're super down to whatever. And if you do know about this webtoon, let's talk about it and talk about what you like about it in the comment section below. I really want to hear what you guys think about this specific webtoon. But yeah, if you guys have a webtoon that you want to recommend to me, do not hesitate at all. Please tell me if there's a webtoon that you like that I haven't read yet. I'm always down to at least add it to my list of things that I want to read, because there's a lot of webtoons on my list that I just haven't gotten around to yet completely. Like, some I've started and liked, some I haven't really gotten around to yet, but I will eventually get around to it. I usually do. It's just kind of a roundabout thing. Like, sometimes I'm in the midst of a webtoon and I just add a new one if the art style looks pretty, or if somebody recommended it to me. I'll throw it in there and I'll eventually come around to it, because man, I just love me some webtoons. So if you have something that you're confident that I'm gonna like, or if you're just confident in a really, really good webtoon, do not hesitate to throw it my way, okay? The only time that I may be hesitant on adding it to the list is if it's horror or gore. Not that I'm scared of either, I just don't like gore, and horror is like, it usually leads to gore. It's mostly gore. If it's horror, whatever, but it's usually because it leads to gore, and I just don't care to read the gory stuff, personally. That's just my personal thing. That's my personal gripe. So just a warning, if it's horror based or gore based, I'm not sure if I'll love it too much, but I'll probably give it a couple chapters. I'll give it a couple chances. If it's not too bad within the first couple chapters, there's a good chance I'll get invested. So we'll see how that plays out. But for the most part, you get the gist. Don't hesitate to recommend it to me. I would love to see some recommendations for new webtoons that I never got around to finding. Okay. So the webtoon that I want to talk about today is Down to Earth, okay? And for the sake of this video, I was like, maybe I should just reread through all of it just in case, to see if this is really the webtoon that I want to start this little mini series with. And I'll probably end up doing webtoons that aren't on the actual site of Webtoon as well. Like, there's other, like, what is it? Tab? I don't know what the other ones are called. I've completely forgot. But there's other webtoon sites that I just haven't explored as much. but I will also get around to talking about. And even like, I want to read Solo Leveling. I started it one time. I know it's fire. I just never like deeply got into it because of the website that I had to read it on. Kind of that website really sucked. But the webtoon that I wanted to talk about was Down to Earth, and I did reread the entirety of the series just to make sure all of my facts and things were straight when I talk about it. And for anybody that doesn't know what Down to Earth is just yet, rereading the entire series is actually not that big of a deal. It's only on its first season, and it's only about 74 to 76 chapters. So honestly, if you got the time, maybe go read it for yourself if you think I'm crazy or whatever. But either way, I wanted to talk about it, and we're going to start doing that right now. So, like I said, there may be some of you that are here that don't know what this webtoon is. Actually, this is for you, actually. So hopefully you don't, so that when I explain it to you right now, you have some kind of interest in it. So let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about the basis of what this story is about, right? So we have our two main characters, right? We have our human, Cade, and we have our alien, Zeta. She is from a completely different world, and he is an anxiety-riddled 24-year-old human. And so, essentially, she crashes into Earth, and she is, you know, a very friendly alien. She doesn't mean anybody any harm. She just wants to, you know, get to know Earth and learn how to live as a human on Earth. And unfortunately for Cade, that kind of entire situation falls on him because, you know, he's very smart about things, and he's like, okay, if she gets exposed as an alien, it'll mean some trouble for her, some trouble for me, and anybody involved. So it's for the best that right now not a lot of people know that she's an alien, so that, you know, we could teach her how to be a proper Earthling so that she can avoid the situation on her own. So essentially, it is about these two learning to live together and learn about one another, and it's just, it's quite the journey. It's quite the journey. It's kind of in one sense, you could look at it as a very typical, alien from another world, but gotta keep it a secret. But yeah, you would see it as one of those very generic, typical situations. However, the way it's handled here is much more anime. I don't know. I like the way they do it here, and not even anime. Kind of a little bit. It's handled differently than you would expect, and it takes it away from that generic, you know, situation of having to hide an alien in your basement or whatever when your family's home and there's a bunch of weird shenanigans or whatever. No, it's a lot more unique than that, and that's what I really like about it. There's a lot of development, you know. It's different from a one movie situation where you have to hide the alien. No, it's an entire series where this alien's learning to live on Earth, and it's very fun. It's fun, okay? So hopefully, if hopefully you have a general idea of what it is about. Again, I know it sounds generic, but I think it is a very fun read, and if you decide to give it a try, please tell me. I want to know, and I want to know what you think about it. So, if that wasn't enough for you, how about this? I'll give you the things that I like about the series, and also the things that I'm kind of mid about when it comes to series. I won't even call them dislikes, just things I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. So, let's start with the likes. For one thing, the story is very simple to understand, and it's just good, plain, simple fun. It is through and through a genuine slice of life, okay? If you really enjoy things like slice of life situations where you just see people being people, having real people struggles and internal problems, things like that they have to get through, and they develop and learn and grow as people, if you like that kind of situation without all the extra action-packed nonsense that happens in a lot of usual fantasy situations, this is a good time for you, okay? It's a good break from all the hefty action and the non-stop thrillers that have you wanting to kick your leg into a wall at all times, okay? It's much more calm, relaxed, and enjoyable than that, okay? It's literally just a matter of learning about these characters, getting connected to them, learning their struggles, and really learning to care for them. That's literally all it is. Obviously, it's a very unique situation because, again, it is fantasy, so that makes up for its unique situation, and you just learn to love them, and you want to learn how they develop in the future, more about their past and what makes them tick. It's just a good read. That's what I'm gonna say it like that. It's very simple to understand. Okay. Another thing is that this cast, like I said, they are a lovable cast. Okay. you can't help but get invested into every single character that you come across. There's some characters that you'll meet, you'll be like, okay, this is getting, oh boy, this is a kind of an alarming situation. But then, you know, you get to know them and learn about them, and you come to love them just like you do the main two characters. They become very lovable characters, and it's a very fun cast. You just can't wait to see more of them. When they're on screen, when anybody's on screen, for the most part, it's a good time. Okay, obviously there's characters that you want to see more on screen than others, but through and through, you come to love every single one of these characters when you really learn about who they are, what makes them tick, and what their struggles are. And you really want to see them get through that and get through things together and see them mend relationships or build relationships with new people. It's just good to see this cast. Like, they are just a very relatable cast. This is one of the most relatable casts I've seen in a webtoon. I'll go as far as to say that the struggles of these characters are very realistic, and honestly, I can understand all of them from a certain aspect, okay? And I love that. I love being able to relate to a character like that. So long story short, the cast is very good, and every character in their own right is very memorable, and they have their own unique quirks about them that you find very, at least, interesting. Like, even if you don't find yourself loving the character for whatever reason, they are very interesting and very entertaining in their own way, and it's so interesting to see them go about their business when it comes to this story. So you really just can't help but be like, all right, what are they gonna do next, you know? So good cast, very well done characters. I love them so much. Their designs are flawless too. Very diverse little cast we got here, okay? Love what you're doing here, Pookiesenpai. Please keep that up, all right? So I love that, okay? So now we're gonna move on to my dislikes, which aren't even, they're not even, I say dislikes, but they're not even dislikes. When I say that, I mean that it's just little whatevers. I was just like, okay, whatever, you know? And one of them, it's something that happens. This is not a one webtoon thing. Sometimes it happens all the time. Sometimes it just happens like this, but there's sometimes not a lot of consistency when it comes to chapter length. Some of them can end really abruptly at, you know, at some random points, you know, and you're like, okay, damn, you know, especially when you're caught up like I was. Like, I was caught up for the year that this entire series was coming out, you know, like, or while, you know, for the first season. When I was caught up paying for coins, you know, some chapters will end super abruptly. I'm like, I gotta wait a whole week now, you know? Like, it's just like a little like, damn it, you know? And some of them are shorter, and it makes you want to punch a wall because you're so excited to see what happens next week with these characters. Like, what kind of shenanigans could possibly happen after seeing something crazy go down in this last chapter that was a little bit shorter than the ones prior, you know? So that's it. It's totally fine. It still maps out nicely and helps the story flow a little bit better, because sometimes you need a good cliffhanger in every chapter, you know? You need a solid cliffhanger, and sometimes those cliffhangers happen sooner than others. So it's not really something that can be helped. It's just a little bit like, you know, damn, I wanted more. That's all it was. I was looking back at my little script here, and I was looking at my other quote-unquote dislike, and I was like, you know what, that's not even really a dislike, and honestly, that's something that's better saved for spoiler territory. So I'm actually not going to talk about that other one, because even then, it's like, whatever, you know? Again, it kind of falls under like, damn, I wanted more. That's all it was. That's all I'm going to say. But whatever the case may be, overall, when it comes to this series, I love it to death. It is one of my favorite slice of life webtoons, and I could not recommend it enough. The art style is so cute. I love this art style. It is adorable. I cannot get enough of looking at these characters. I love their style so much. They all got their own little unique drip to them too. You know, they've all got some style, and I like that. Okay, very well dressed. I love them. Okay, I just can't get enough of looking at it. And honestly, I think it's a crime that Season 1 is over right now, and that we don't have a release date for Season 2. I'm very impatient when it comes to a good story, alright? I want to see the entire story through, which is why usually, for a long time now, it was very hard for me to, like, dive into anime lately, because I get so invested that I get so upset when I'm caught up, because having to wait on a weekly basis gets so frustrating, okay? I'll be honest, I just want to see more. I want to see it all the time, and it's just, I want to see it through to the end, you know? I want to see it hit its peak. I want to see it hit that climax. But then I have to wait like 6 months, you know? Like, it's just, it's the worst. It's the worst. So it feels like a crime that we don't have any kind of news when it comes to Season 2. I don't believe. Maybe we do. I may have missed it. Apologies if I have. But I am really looking forward to the day that this series comes back for its next season, because man, I'm deep. I'm in deep, brother. I'm in deep. I'm put it like this. This is currently one of my favorite slice of life fantasy stories currently. And for anybody that's looking for something to kick back with, nothing with too much action, too much strife, something you don't want it to absolutely just punch you in the heart every other second, you know, this is the story for you. This is stressless. Sometimes it's stressful, I can't lie. There's a lot of romantic situations because it is a romance as much as it is a slice of life. There's just a lot of situations where you're like, oh my god, you know, it's just like, wow, you know? So, but it's not as stressful as like your typical like action adventure type situation, or like, you know, like solo leveling, you know? Sometimes they're just vibing, and you just can't help but love that. Those end up being some of your favorite scenes, like when nothing is happening. That's some of the best. That's what you love to see the most, and it's great. And honestly, for anybody that's completely unfamiliar with Webtoon and you're looking for recommendations because somebody recommended that you get into Webtoon, if you need a good solid starter story, this right here is it for you. This is a very solid slice of life, just enjoy the ride kind of story. And you're gonna read this romance slice of life and you're like, oh yeah, I could definitely do more of this. And that's how you get into the hole and you never get the hell back out. And it's amazing. It's a great, horrible place to be. So if you need somewhere to start, Down to Earth is absolutely the place that I would absolutely go out of my way to recommend to you, because this is a phenomenal story, and I hope that more people decide to give it a chance, because I can't get enough of it, okay? It deserves every ounce of support and love that it's gotten so far, and it deserves even more going forward. Hopefully it comes back really, really soon, because I'm really looking forward to what is in store for this story. So that's just about does it for my thoughts on this webtoon. This is my recommendation to you for this week. Hopefully you guys get into it. Maybe if you don't, tell me what else you got involved in, or whatever else. I just want to talk about webtoons. I figured this is a good place to start as any, because I did recently restart it, and see, I just sat through and just read all of it in like 3 sittings. Like, it was crazy. So either way, like I said, passing the mic to you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about Down to Earth. If you have read it, if you haven't read it, I want to know all of your opinions on things that I said, or maybe things that other people have said about Down to Earth. Tell me all of your opinions and things like that in the comment section below, because I'm always down there with you. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle on out of here, because it does appear to be that time. So I want to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm out, y'all. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!